So according to Shams, it's now decision time for LeBron James, and according to reports and prediction markets, it might be a two-team race. It may be down to the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. All the voice notes have been listened to, and the decks are all laid out. For the Cavs, they are actually expected to shake things up in the front office if LeBron does return. Kendrick Perkins today on Get Up said he thinks LeBron wants to return home to the crib. We are on the verge of history, watching the greatest player of all time sign somewhere for potentially a vet minimum deal. Kenny Atkinson just talked about why this is such an exciting time for the organization. The Cavs seem open to doing literally anything to get LeBron to come home. I want to talk about everything that we've learned over the last 24 hours, when we can expect LeBron to make his decision, and so much more. But before I do begin, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like and subscribe button. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so as I said in the intro, the two favorites to land LeBron are now the Cavs and the Warriors. A lot of that seems to be because of Draymond Green and how the two hung out over the last week at the golf course. The Cavs are still the heavy favorites. Right now, on all the prediction markets, it's like 45 to 48% Cleveland, and the next highest is the Warriors at around 25%. It's almost 2-1 at this point, and by the looks of things, LeBron might actually be looking at 2 more seasons. A lot of people don't think he's done after just one. 2026 might not be his farewell tour. I know some people have grown frustrated with the time it has taken LeBron to make this decision, but we have to remember he has earned the right to take his time and just enjoy the offseason, which is really not that long. But to me, Kenny Atkinson confirmed that the Cavs really are deep into this LeBron pursuit. It's not some made-up thing. There is more than enough evidence that points to a LeBron Cleveland return, whether you want to admit it or not. There was a new report that came out that the Cavs actually met with Rich Paul in Vegas. And I feel like I could spend all day talking about every single angle and all the reasons this LeBron return is happening. I want to actually do something different in this video though. This isn't me counting chickens before they hatch, but I want to brainstorm what this team would actually look like with LeBron and what the game plan would be to get him through the 82-game season and ready for the playoffs, and how LeBron could get this team mentally prepared for winning in the postseason, because we all know this team desperately needs somebody to come in and change how they operate and just the mentality, because this is a weak team. But first, I do want to talk about the front office rumors. It was recently stated that if James does sign with the Cavs, that Brandon Weems would become the team's next general manager. Weems is Cleveland's assistant general manager, and he is friends with James. Rich Paul pointed to this on an episode of his Game Over podcast near the start of free agency. In terms of the basketball though, as promised, I just want you guys to really take a step back and think about a starting lineup of James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. I've heard everyone on social media saying LeBron can't play with James Harden, nobody wants to play with Harden. I really don't think that's true, and if there is one guy in the league that could figure out how to play with Harden, it's LeBron. And you guys can call me crazy, but Harden has a very similar play style to LeBron, just with a lot less athleticism, and his body can't do some of the things LeBron can at an older age. Both are court generals and can make passes before the player is at the spot where the ball is going to go. Both can go into decoy mode and can wait for the right opportunity to take over. I will say this is going to be a defensively challenged team because we know Harden is a cone, LeBron will be turning 42, and Donovan Mitchell is undersized. So it's going to create one heck of a challenge for Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. The season would basically ride or die on what they can do and how much ground they can make up. But I also think those two guys is what could entice LeBron to come back. I know there's a narrative that LeBron plays lazy defense. I think people just cherry pick clips of him not getting back. He's actually a really smart defender that puts himself in the right place at the right time. But if Kenny Atkinson and the Cavs coaching staff does this correctly, in the regular season, you only have to play LeBron 23 to 25 minutes a game. You can sit him in back-to-backs. So it's not like the actual lineup of Mitchell, Harden, and LeBron would be on the floor together a ton. I think you could space out Harden and LeBron's minutes, so there is a court general out there on the floor at all times. Mitchell could play a lot more off the ball. Obviously, he will still get the ball the same amount, and he will be the leading scorer, but possessions would not start with him as much, and it could relieve a lot of the pressure off of him. Another guy that will have a huge season with LeBron is Sam Merrill. This would literally be the perfect situation for him. He would have wide open shots all season long. Last year, he averaged 12.8 points on 42% shooting from behind the arc. We know he was dealing with a wrist injury all season long, and it was something that kept him from ever getting in a rhythm. But I want to go back and look at a guy like Kyle Korver, who had 2 of his top 5 seasons in terms of shooting efficiency, playing with LeBron. and they all came in the later years of his career. I think with the facilitating of Harden and LeBron, Mero would be set up with open look after open look, same for Max Strus, and LeBron is so advanced that he actually studies the spots that shooters like to receive the ball in. Like I said in one of my previous videos, there's a reason why so many different role players have gotten paid big after playing with LeBron. I think his impact is still the same regardless of age. Another thing LeBron helps with is the Cavs' balance in terms of game plan. LeBron has become more of a jump shooter in the later years of his career, but he still can get to the rim at will. He definitely is better at it than Donovan Mitchell. He made 78% of his shots within 3 feet of the basket last season, which is actually one of the best marks of his entire career. But only 35% of his shots did come from inside. He was definitely picking his spots and times to go inside a lot more selectively. He's been a lot less physical, which is a sign of how he's adapted his game to what his body can take on. But the 35% rate that he drove to the rim actually put him in the top 30 for big men in the NBA, and he's not even an actual big man. He did play some 4 and 5 for the Lakers, but for Cleveland, obviously, he will just be a 1 or a 3 because they have Allen and Mobley. I think if Strus and Mero can hit their shots next season consistently, LeBron is going to have life on easy mode because as a defender, you have to choose one or the other. LeBron's greatest offensive strength this past season wasn't any one skill. It was his capacity to be whatever the Lakers needed on a given night. He could function as the engine of their offense, initiating nearly every action, or he could recede into a complementary role, and there's only a few players in league history that have possessed that kind of stylistic flexibility without sacrificing their effectiveness. And that versatility really became especially valuable as the Lakers' personnel shifted throughout the year. Obviously, they dealt with a lot of injuries, and rather than forcing the offense to conform to him, LeBron continually reshaped his game to fit the roster at hand, ensuring that the team retained its identity regardless of who was available. And then by the time the playoffs came, LeBron was back in that number 1 role because Austin Reeves and Luka were both hurt. And he really just effortlessly expanded his responsibilities. He controlled the tempo, he was able to diagnose the coverages, and he was able to create advantages wherever they presented themselves. He literally beat the Rockets by himself. It was ridiculous. A team that completely tore down and rebuilt because of him 4 years ago. So in Cleveland, LeBron would obviously be able to continue that role on an even greater scale. Cleveland's roster is way more balanced than the Lakers with Harden and Donovan and then Mobley and Allen. That is so much firepower, and they also have a little bit of bench depth as well. This would be a perfect fit. This wouldn't be awkward. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen in the next few days. That's what I'm hearing. I'm curious to hear what you guys think in the comments below, though. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.